Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aitken from Narrowing the Field. And we're off to Sandown this weekend, covering the three races on the final day of the National Hunt season. Don't forget the new season starts on Monday, including the big race of the weekend, the Bet365 Gold Cup, and then we take our usual trip up to Scotland for our continuing Football Trixie top, middle and bottom. Racing at first as always, and to Sandown we go, starting with the Novices Handicap Hurdle due off at 150 on Saturday. And welcome along, Ben, and can you start us off with that one?
Yeah, morning Tony. Novice Championship Final Handicap Hurdle, 150 Sandown. Only been 5 renewals of this race. All 5 have been won by a horse age 4, 5 or 6 that won last time out. And only 5 of the 20 runners fit that profile this year. Panjari, Secret Squirrel, Geezer Rockstar, Active Authority and Just One Surf. Panjari, he's one of 2 runners for Paul Nicholls, and he does like to target this race. He's had 10 runners in the race. He's won it twice. He's placed with 2 others. His winners were both 6-year-olds that won last time out and were returning within 3 weeks of their last run, which is the same profile as Panjari. He's up £9 for his last run. I'll win it for his last, but doesn't look like he's done progressing yet. So he is high on my radar for this Panjari. A Secret Squirrel, he's the other I like from that shortlist. He was a very easy winner at Taunton last time out. The form of that was boosted a touch by the 5th horse, Meatloaf, who was beaten 23 lengths by Secret Squirrel. Meatloaf came out and won by 6.5 lengths earlier this week. And the handicapper does seem to have been pretty lenient with Secret Squirrel, as he was only put up £1 for his win last time out. I think his mark of 126 does look extremely workable. He's won 4 of his 6 National Hunt starts to date. He's finished second on the 2 he didn't win, losing by a neck in one and just under 2 lengths in the other. That 2-length defeat was behind the Nicky Henderson trained Jericho Durepone, who won a Grade 2 on his next start. So Secret Squirrel's form looks solid, and I do think that 126 mark underplays him quite a bit. So Panjari and Secret Squirrel would be the 2 for me in the 150. Tony, what have you got for us in the Novice Handicap?
Yeah, I'm going to have a go with 3 in this one, Ben. I do like the chances of Act of Authority. 2 from 3 of his last starts. Decent form in novice hurdles overall. 3 from 4 on a slightly undulating track. And could do with a bit of rain, though, Act of Authority. But trainer Ollie Murphy has saddled 9 winners from 30 starters in the last 14 days. And also has a 50% winning play strike rate, with another 6 hitting the frame. And Sean Bowen takes the ride there on Active Authority. That's around 20-1. Geezer Rockstar is one of the others, 1 from 3 over hurdles. Winner at the third time of asking, when winning at Ascot last month, beating 12 rivals by a length in a maiden hurdle over 2 mile, 3 furlongs. Drops back in trip here for a yard, quietly ticking along at the moment, with 3 winners from 10 going to post in the last couple of weeks. And I think Geezer Rockstar could be well placed and can go well on handicap debut. And another one at a double figure price, Caught in the Act, learning all the time, has been brought along very quietly by Harry Durham, winning a maiden at Kempton on Boxing Day before returning. Not quite sure about the layoff or the reason for it, but returned last month to finish 2nd of 7 in a novice hurdle at Ludlow on soft ground. Expect Caught in the Act to be racing prominently for the trainer that just continues to impress me. He's got a 33% strike rate in the last 30 days, a 60% win and play strike rate, with 10 winners and another 8 hitting the frame from 30 runners for Harry Durham. And Caught in the Act could go well and hit the frame at around 12-1. Moving on, 225 at Sandown is the Oaksey Chase, Grade 2 Chase, over 2 mile, 6.5 furlongs. Ben, what's your thoughts on the Oaksey Chase?
Yeah, there have been 9 previous renewals of the Oaksey Chase. All 9 have been won by the top-rated horse on official ratings, or one that was no more than £4 below the top-rated horse. Horses fit in that angle have stats in the Oaksey Chase of 9 wins and 2 places from just 16 qualifiers. So class usually tells in this race. If 3 horses fit the top-rated or no more than £4 below top-rated angle this year, they are Easy Game, The Real Whacker, and Hitman. Easy Game for Willie Mullins. He's a top-rated runner this year. It's another day where I think we need to figure out which horses Mullins is just throwing at the dartboard to see if he can pick up some place money and which ones have a real live chance of picking off the win. I think Easy Game just about falls into the he has a live chance category. He was pulled up last time out in the Grade 1 Melon Chase at Aintree. He's never been a Grade 1 player though. He's now 0 from 10 in Grade 1 races, and he should be more competitive back in this Grade 2 contest. If you look at Easy Game at Grade 2 level and below, and fields of 12 or less, you see he has 18 wins and 4 placed efforts from 27 starts. That's all 18 of his career wins. If you then look at the times Paul Townend has ridden him under those conditions, the stats become 10 wins and 2 placed efforts from 12 starts. Never out of the first 2 in those 12 starts. And the last 7 times Townend has ridden Easy Game in a Grade 2 or lower race in a field of 12 or less, they've won. As always, however, Mullins likes to throw in a bit of a curveball because he's stuck first-time cheek pieces on the horse for this run, which brings me neatly round to one of the other runners that meet the angle I mentioned. It's Paul Nicholls has also stuck first-time headgear on his runner, the permanent disappointment that is Hitman. He's done precious little this season, Hitman. He's had a 4th wind up of his career back in November. He's another one that isn't really a Grade 1 player. He's 0 from 9 at the top level. So he should appreciate dropping down a level here. He might also not be a Grade 2 player, though, because he's actually 0 from 16 in Class 1 races. He's 3 from 3 at Class 2 or lower levels. So you will really need the blinkers to spark him into a bit of life here. And in fairness, they may just do that. He ran a close 3rd in the 2023 Ryanair Chase when wearing first-time cheek pieces. And they did seem to have a positive impact on him there before then having 0 impact on following starts. So he might just be one of those that improves for the first run with headgear. If that is the case, then we could see him get involved in this. Also worth noting that Nicholls has won this race 3 times before. All were French-bred horses aged 8 or 9 and rated 1, 5, 6 or higher. He sent 3 to the race with that profile. All 3 have won. Song Calvados, Frodon and Black Horton. Hitman is the 4th horse he has sent to this race with that profile. So he's a tricky horse, but there are positives for Hitman. The other one, the only other one I can kind of make half a case for is Al Dancer for Sam Thomas. That's mainly based on stable form. 4 of Sam Thomas's last 6 have won. The other 2 placed. His last 13 runners, 5 have won, 4 have finished 2nd, and 3 have finished 3rd. So only 1 of his last 13 have failed to at least place. He does have his yard and bouncing form right now. Is Al Dancer up to land in a Grade 2 aged 11? Not entirely convinced, but then again, probably not the strongest of Grade 2 events. And it's kind of a race where you could throw positives and negatives at the entire field, probably more negatives than positives. But given the form line of Easy Game, under conditions he faces here, and given the fact he's top-rated horse, and the top-rated has won this 7 times out of 9, then Easy Game is the one I'm going to side with in this, around 9-2 or bigger. Easy Game. Tony, for me, what have you got in the Oaksey Chase?
Yeah, I'm with you with Easy Game, mate. I was having a look and it came down to the same 3, to be honest, and actually the same 4 with Al Dancer as well. But then I saw 11-year-old and not really sure about that, and I would want him to be a bit bigger than 8-1 if I was going to back Al Dancer each way, but I think Al Dancer can finish in front of possibly Hitman and the real whackers. You say the perennial disappointment that is Hitman. I didn't there was 2 things that stood out. 8, I didn't realise, I don't know, he's only 8, but he seems to be in around ages, and also He's only 3 career wins as well, which came as a little bit of a surprise. But and he's not from 5 right-handed, so I can't really see him stepping up to the plate here against probably a second thought Mullins horse. But the other one is the Real Whacker as well. Had a bit where he won 3 in a row, where Ed and his media cohort started the love-in with the horse, and his trainer Neville Patrick, who I'm sure is a nice bloke, they endlessly looked for a story to go with a horse, and the Real Whacker was the one a couple of years ago, and those wins came between November 2022 and March 2023 when he won the Brown Advisory. Fair play, Grade 1 Brown Advisory, short head win, but somehow he went from a rating of 153 to 162, and I can't see the Real Whacker being a horse in the 160s, really can't. And then you come down to Easy Game, 14, I'm sure you've gone through this, Ben, 14 from 28 over the larger obstacles. He's battle hardened. He's 9 from 13 on good ground. Townend is, as you mentioned, he's 10 from 13 on the horse. He's 7 from 12 in Grade 2 company, 12 from 23 in fields similar to this size. I can only see Easy Game running away with this, to be honest with you, for trainer Willie Mullins and Paul Townend in the saddle there. So that's my Oaksey Chase analysis there. Easy Game at around 11-2. On to the big one, the 335, the Bet365 Gold Cup, better known in old money as the old Whitbread Gold Cup, I think, from years ago. The Class 1 handicap chase over 3 miles, 4.5 furlongs. Ben, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I've got a set of 4 trends to help narrow this field, using the last 12 renewals as my basis. Those trends being 12 of the last 12 winners recorded a top 2 finish on one of their last 5 starts. 12 of the last 12 ran over 3 miles or further last time out, started at an SP of 14 to 1 or less. 11 of the last 12 had 10 or less handicap chase starts, and 11 of the last 12 had recorded 2 or less handicap chase victories. Now, using those trends as my basis, I'm looking at a short list of 3 under through 5 and Nick Rocket. I'd also pull in Am I Right, Manila Cocooner and Lee Milos. A 3 under through 5 has an excellent record going right-handed. He's 5 wins and a second from 6 starts. He does fit the same sort of profile as Paul Nicholls' previous 4 winners of this. Though I have to admit, his handicap mark of 156 worries me. 22 horses have run in this off marks of 155 or more. Only 3 of them even managed to place, so it won't be an easy task for 3 under 3-5. Might be one of those that runs into a place but finds 1 or 2 better handicap types ahead of him. And Nick Rocket could be one of those better handicap types. He went off as a 4-1 favourite in the Irish National last time out, but could only manage a 30-length 7th in that. In his defence, that was only his 4th chase start. He will likely have learned plenty from the outing. He was also running in that off a break of 50 days, and he may just have needed the run. He's 3 wins and a second from 4 starts off breaks of 42 days or less, compared to 1 win from 4 off breaks of longer than 42 days. So every chance he'll come on a bit for that Irish national outing. He's run here off a break of 26 days, so I think that should see a better run from him. Ground was also riding extremely bottomless in Irish National. Doesn't get much worse than that. And again, that wouldn't have been ideal if he was just needing the run to sharpen him up a bit. So I like Nick Rocket. Am I right? He's an interesting player. He returns off a 122-day break here, and he is a horse that goes best off a decent sort of break. Both his wins to date have come off breaks of more than 90 days. Off shorter breaks, he's 0 from 6, 0 places. Both his wins have also come on ground that was good to softer, quicker, and on right-handed tracks. So there's plenty going for Am I Right here, and he's definitely high in my thoughts as well. And Lee Milos, I've included on the short list because he looks one of those skeleton horses that they have been nursing along with a specific target in mind. Last season, he won the Coral Gold Cup at Newbury, finished 10th in the Grand National. But this year, he's only been seen in 3 handicap hurdle contests. So you just have to wonder if they've been protecting his chase handicap mark for something. that someone could be this race. He's only £3 above his Coral Gold Cup winning mark. He's 2 from 2 at Sandown, one of those coming over the Sandown fences. And Lee Milos, he's another that is catching my eye in this. I likely have 2 or 3 darts at this one, but right now my main one would be Nick Rocket for Mullins. I think he'll be sharper and a bit street smarter for his Irish national run. So Nick Rocket for me, securing the title, the Trainers' Championship for Mullins in the process. Nick Rocket is where I'm at, Tony. What have you got for the Bet365 Gold Cup?
Yeah, I've gone for another Mullins one here. The Mount of Danny Mullins, Manila Kakuna, horse by Fleming's Firth. He was last seen running on the beginning of April in the Irish Grand National. He finished 3rd of 20, beaten 4 lengths there. A couple of good runs earlier in the season as well. I think he's been brought nicely along there. I think he can run a big race at around 9-1. And another one at a bigger price, Annual Invictus for trainer Chris Gordon. His son Freddie claiming £5 there. He ran not bad. He finished 7th of 22 in the Kim Muir at Cheltenham when last seen at the festival. And he was around 28-1 that day. And before that, he'd won the Great Yorkshire Handicap Chase as well off a £5 or £6 lower mark at Doncaster in January as well. So beating Forward Plan and Nose at around 16-1. So I think that was a decent effort there over the larger obstacles as well. So hopefully. And Freddie Gordon didn't ride the horse at Cheltenham in the Kim Muir. So Gene Andrews rode the horse. So Freddie Gordon back on today. I think Annual Invictus can go well at around 20-1. A Bangers and Cash can go hopefully well. It doesn't seem to run a bad race. I honestly think with firms paying 5 places, I think Bangers can Cash can run into a place for trainer Ben Paul in there. Keelan Woods around 50-1. He's 50-1 with Bet365 at the time of recording this show. And the other one I do agree with, by the way, Lim Milos for Skelton. I'll stand up and say 13th of 22 in the Pertemps. He was never put in the race. Absolutely never put in the handicap hurdle at Cheltenham. Finished eventually 13 of 22. So anyway, take that what you will. And I think Lamilos can certainly hit the frame in the Gold Cup tomorrow. Right, just give me lawyers a shout there. Right now it's on to this top, middle, and bottom. Fantastic.
The great thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeez, he peeps, man.
Yes, a bit of a pod you've all been waiting for, top, middle and bottom before this week's selections. If you must, Ben, give us a rundown of last week.
Yeah, a blowout for both of us last week. Another bunch of nil-nil draws floating about, minus 4 points each. Current state of play. Me plus 8.75, Tony minus 28.77. Normal 3 leagues for us again this week. My top, middle and bottom is top Inverness Cali to beat Dunfermline at 13-10. I'm going to stick with big dunks, Cali Thistle here. They were unlucky not to get at least a draw last week against Race. Race keeper pulled off some outstanding saves to keep Cali Thistle out. And they're going to need to win this here because 9th place Queen's Park should pick up full points against Arbroath. So if Inverness don't win, they'll be back in the relegation playoff spot. So I'm putting my trust in Big Dunk once again, and I'm going for an Inverness Cali Thistle win. Middle, Kelty Hearts to beat Montrose at 6-4. As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Kelty Hearts had an outside chance of making the playoff spot. And that outside chance has now become a very serious chance. And they can take another step closer by beating a seriously struggling Montrose here. Montrose being the team currently in the last playoff spot. They're 3 points ahead of Kelty Hearts. Montrose have not won any of their last 6 matches. They've lost 4 of them. They've only scored 3 goals in the process. Kelty have won 4 of their last 6. They are one of the form teams in the league right now. Montrose are absolutely not one of the form teams, and I am going for Kelty Hearts to win in the middle section. At the bottom, Dumbarton to beat Elgin City at 4-7. A shorty to round out my Trixie, and I'm going with runner-up spot chasing Dumbarton to turn over poor travellers Elgin City. Peterhead, Dumbarton and Spartans are all guaranteed to be in the playoffs. The only thing that needs settled is what position they'll finish in. Dumbarton have the chance to be a marker down here because the other two are playing each other this weekend. So if they'll need to get the win here as well, because next week it's a showdown on the last game of the season with Peterhead at Peterhead. So if they can beat Elgin here, it remains in their own hands, and second place does give you one less playoff tie to negotiate. Dumbarton have only lost 3 at home this season. Elgin have only won twice away from home this season. And with Elgin guaranteed safety now, they're not going to be bothered with this game. That's not the Elgin way. So Dumbarton for the win all the way at the bottom, giving me a top, middle and bottom of top Inverness, middle Kelty, Hearts and bottom Dumbarton. Tony.
Dumbarton back
Dumbarton
on the list. All right. Very quickly, I've got I'm going against you, Ben. Dunfermline at home to Inverness. Caledonian Thistle at 6-4. Queen of the South at home to Cove Rangers 21-20. The middle bit, the bottom bit, Clyde, who are 3-4 at home to East Fife. So 3 homes once again from me. Dunfermline, Queen of the South, and Clyde for my top, middle and bottom this week. Many thanks for listening. Latest edition of the Racing Podblast. Very best luck with your betting at Sandown and wherever you may be having a bet this weekend. Thank you for listening this week, and thank you to all the new listeners, and thanks for all the lovely comments as well. If you like a bit of boogie, a bit of Friday funk, then you can catch my Groove Express radio show on Heritage Chart radio tonight, every Friday between 7 and 9. That's on Heritage Chart Radio. And you can catch more racing analysis from Ben over on narrowinthefield.co.uk. Thanks very much, Ben. Cheers.
Thanks, Tony.
See you after, everyone.